are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the College Loop Podcast, episode 274 of the College Loop Podcast. I am Larck, boy on Twitter, here to talk today about Auburn Basketball, who was back last night and absolutely demolished Vermont by a score of 94-43, beating them by 51 points in a game where Auburn looked outstanding on both sides of the ball. Now, Vermont wasn't ever going to match Auburn's athleticism. I remember I said it was going to be a closer score. I tend to kind of be more lenient when it comes to predicting Auburn's wins. But Vermont's a good team. This is a very good win for Auburn. Vermont's going to be in the tournament at the end of the season. They're going to win their conference. And I think it just kind of shows the disparity between the SEC and the American Conference. I forgot what exactly their conference is off the top of my head right now. But this is a great showcase of what this Auburn team can be if they continuously play as they did. You saw an outstanding defensive performance from Auburn, only giving up 21 points in the first half. Vermont didn't put up 30 until it was under 12 minutes left to go in the game. And overall, I mean, you saw a lockdown performance. They only shot 21% from the three-point line. They shot 25% just from the field in general. And 18 points allowed in the paint. This was a very good showcase. And even going further, looking at Auburn's offense compared to the bench for both teams, Auburn's bench put up 47 points to Vermont's 22 from the bench. But 28. Sorry, correction. I can't read. 26. There we go. 26. So 47 to 26 points from the bench from both these teams. But even going further than that, Auburn's bench outscored Vermont as a team, 47-43. It's a good showcase of just how deep this team is. And you saw starting lineup of J.P. Pegues, Denver Jones, Chad Baker-Mazara, Janai Broome, and Dylan Cardwell. Cardwell didn't put up any points, but he was there defensively, and everyone knows how good of a shot blocker Dylan Cardwell is. You saw a very quietly good performance from Janai Broome, 12 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. Also had 2 blocks and a steal that turned into a transition dunk for him. And it was a good game to see Janai kind of sit back and not play the hero role. Of course, we're going to see plenty of games where he's going to have to do that later on in the season. You might even get to see it this Saturday when Auburn gets to play top 4 team Houston. About probably more of that in just a second. Denver Jones had a great game defensively and offensively. 16 points for Denver, 2 assists. Also had a steal for himself. 2 of 3 from the three-point line, 5 of 6 overall. Did not miss a free throw at all in 16 minutes of play. I was saying this while watching. I mean, Denver has the potential this season to be one of the best offensive and defensive guards in the country. I think he's one of the best two-way players that Auburn has, and it was very, very awesome to watch how he played last night. Chad took over in the first half, but kind of had a quieter second half, which works out well. I mean, Auburn preaches and likes to show off that they are the deepest team in the SEC, and you saw that. I mean, there are 11 guys who had 10 minutes or more. 11 guys that had 15 minutes or more. 12 guys that had 10 minutes or more, and of course, in the last 30 minutes, you had to see some of the walk-ons go in. But I guess the storyline of this game is, of course, Georgia Tech transfer Miles Kelly, who absolutely went into the ball game and took over from the three-point line. 7 of 9 from beyond the arc, put up 21 points, did not score a single point inside the three-point line, which was extremely fun to watch. You watch Miles Kelly just pull up from 30-plus feet. He walked past the logo, got the ball, and just took the look he got. And it went in. And, of course, the jungle is always going to be explosive whenever you have an explosive offense like this. And all I have to do is sit there and think, Can they continuously do this throughout the season? I think they can. I mean, this is a deep team that I feel a lot differently about than I did in last year's team because of the veteran leadership, the guys you bring in, and the fact that Auburn has taller guards. It's been, I can't remember the last time Auburn had a tall guard. I want to say the tallest guard Auburn's had recently, not counting for Denver Jones last year, would have been Samir Dowdy, I think was up there. I think he would have been the tallest guard Auburn's had in the Bruce Pearl era, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to actually go back and look through that. And another thing to talk about, I mean, the freshmen were a huge part of this game because they were all eyes were on those two. Ja'Kai Howard in 20 minutes, 3 of 5, had 7 points, 4 rebounds, fouled a lot, but also had a block and a steal. Had an absolutely amazing dunk. And of course, we know that Ja'Kai Howard has ups. And it was just super fun to watch him actually get to showcase that in a regular season game. And, it turned the crowd up. And right after that, Miles Kelly did it even more by taking a deep 3. But yeah, Ja'Kai played great. Just need to not make those freshman mistakes that you see from the fouling. Same thing for Todd Pettiford. I believe he fouled out in the game with 5 points. Tahad did not have a good night shooting. 0 for 4, 0 for 2 from the 3-point line, and missed. But he did have a good job of facilitating the ball. He led the team in assists. He also had 2 steals on the defense side of the ball, which is something Auburn has a slew of like defensive guards to work with this season. Overall, I mean, this is a great win for Auburn. This is going to be a win that is going to continuously look better on paper as the season continuously goes along, because Vermont is going to win their conference. That's a team that brought back a lot of starters from the team that won their conference. So I think it's just going to continuously build back, and that's just going to be a great win for Auburn. And of course, 25 points off turnovers, 36 points in the paint. Just great win overall. And I think the biggest number to talk about here and to look at, Auburn shot 45% as a team from the 3-point line. Absolutely outstanding performance from Auburn as a whole. I already mentioned Chaney Johnson, who was 1 rebound away from a double-double. Put up 13 points and 9 rebounds. Just a all-around great performance from all the guys that you're expecting to see. Even I would talk about Jaheim Hudson, who had put up a great defensive game. They only put up 2 points late in the game, but was able to attribute a lot defensively for the team last night. But Auburn does have a huge test coming up on Saturday as they take on the number 4 team in the country, and the Houston Cougars is the team Auburn met just a few years ago in the March Madness tournament. This is going to be a really tough game. I don't even know if I'm ready to make a prediction for this game. I think that with this game being in Houston itself, for the neutral site element, is dumb per se. But Houston's going to give you a lot more athletic play than you got from Vermont. Now, Houston is a team that is probably going to win the Big 12, and they play a lot of team ball. They facilitate well. They get open looks from the 3, and they make a lot of those shots. I think they shot like 50 to 60% from the 3-point line during their last game against Jackson State. They are going to try to get the ball out to when they can. And, of course, they have a lot of size that will match up with Auburn. I mean, this is a great test ahead of the conference schedule. And then, of course, conference schedule doesn't start for months at this point. But Auburn just has a lot of true tests, and this is the first one, and it's going to be a tough one and a fun one to watch as number 11 Auburn takes on number 4 Houston. That's going to be November 9th, a Saturday at 8:30 Central Standard Time. So get ready to stay up late for that one. So, yeah, that's going to be a fun one. Right now, I'm bugging a little bit. I want to say I have Auburn winning that game, but that might just be a bug talking for that one. And, of course, women's basketball also plays this week on Friday at 6 o'clock p.m. This one is going to be at Auburn. They're taking on Virginia University in Lynchburg. I think there's going to be another great showcase of this Auburn team yet again. You're just going to see how deep that roster is, see a lot of the same players you saw put up great numbers against Southern Illinois. Of course, Auburn women's basketball, November 20th, they're going to be taking on Oregon. That'll be one of their first tests of the season. So can't wait for that. Yeah, I think Auburn women's basketball is going to win that. So you're going to have both two basketball teams that are going to be 2-0, preferably by Sunday. So yeah, that's my predictions for those two. I just think that overall they're just both these teams are so fun to watch. You're watching Coach Jay's team kind of build. You saw the rebuild happen to a team that might take down some giants in the SEC. I don't know which ones. I don't want to say South Carolina off the top of my head. South Carolina will always scare me whenever it comes to Auburn playing them in women's basketball. But this is a super fun team to watch. But with that, we're going to go into a little bit of an ad break. And then on the side of this break, we're going to talk a little Auburn football because Hugh Freeze said something that kind of earned a little bit of a conversation. So on the side of this break, we'll talk about Auburn football. So we'll be right back. Are you tired of having to rummage through just clothes after clothes after clothes, looking for something to wear? Are you tired of your friends making fun of you for your terrible fashion sense? Well, do we have the shirt for you? Go to thewarreport.com, get your laptop out and do it right now. Go to the shop and get your very own Feelin' Loopy t-shirt as well as your college loop hat, and you can get both of them for only $25 each. Plus shipping and handling, of course. But with that, now back to your regular scheduled program. And of course, you can get the college loop hat, the first page of the War Report shop. Currently wearing it right here. It comes in 5 different colorways. So does the Feelin' Loopy t-shirt as well. It's going to be on your second page. Get those today. $25 each, $50 total. Looks great on it. I don't think there's anybody who looks bad in the college loop merch. So with that, everybody like, comment, subscribe. Leave your thoughts on Auburn basketball's big win. And of course, leave your thoughts on what I'm about to talk to you about right now. Because Hugh Freeze in a teleconference yesterday talked about that the coaching staff is debating a potential quarterback change. You know, he mentioned that Payton is playing pretty solid, which I would admit that Payton Thorne hasn't turned over the football as much as he had earlier in the season. He's made a few bad throws, but overall, I mean, I don't think a lot of these games Auburn has lost because Payton Thorne is a bad quarterback or has been playing like a bad quarterback. But what he said, thinking of the bigger picture, as opposed to one of your players that really hasn't done anything wrong, certainly aren't winning. And so we're debating all that this week, and we'll continue that into next week, debating that. So, I mean, this could be a continuous conversation that they're going to have. Thinking about the bigger picture, you're looking to the future. You know, you're looking at Hank Brown as potentially who they would talk about. I've seen a lot of people talking about Walker White. Now, of course, I'm not going to talk about Holden Gerner because I think Holden Gerner, again, is a foot out the door. So it would be interesting to see what exactly they do because I don't know how ready Walker White would be if he hasn't been practicing with the team like as a non-scout team quarterback. Because that's as far as I was aware. That's what I've been hearing that he was. I mean, he didn't travel with the team. His first game he traveled to, I believe, was Missouri. But it'd be interesting to see. I mean, I'm not opposed to be Walker White. I just want to trying to bring the fans back up into it, and of course talking about just getting younger guys to play. And Hank Brown, I think, played very well. I mean, I talk about those interceptions a few times from the Arkansas game, where I think a lot of those interceptions made were just good defensive plays. I mean, I think that you can't hold Hank Brown too responsible for some of those interceptions, but one of them definitely. Or for two of them, and then one of them was his fault, I would say. All right. So, I mean, that's just a huge thing to talk about going into the last 3 games of the season because you're looking at ULM next week. Then you have A&M and Alabama. A&M has one of the best defenses in the SEC. Alabama has one of the more talented defenses. I don't want to say one of the best, but kind of looking forward. I mean, what are you looking at here going forward? Do you want to see if Walker White is developing faster than usual? Are you wanting to see what Hank Brown can do back in charge of the team? Because, of course, you have the 2 weeks to practice for that. And, of course, you have ULM. I think ULM is going to be Auburn's last one of the year. Auburn's going to finish 4-8. But why not try out the younger guys? Why not put Walker White out there. I mean, if he throws a few interceptions, I mean, at least you can just say he's a true freshman out there. And if it's too bad, you can always put Hank Brown back out there. Because of course you're trying to maintain the guys on the roster that you want to bring back going into next year. Because Auburn is going to have to get a transfer portal quarterback, but you don't want to have to throw a veteran quarterback pro as a 1-year rental quarterback transfer. You don't want to have the guy behind him as a redshirt freshman, or you don't want to have the guy behind him to be a true freshman who's going to get redshirted. So you're trying to bring back probably Hank Brown, I would assume, because he would be at that point 3 years into the playbook, and he'd be someone you could rely on to go in if that quarterback needed to be taken out. But I think it's something that a lot of the fans are going to really enjoy, the fact that you're open to allowing other quarterbacks in. This has probably been the biggest thing. Now, I've said before, I don't think Payton Thorne has lost Auburn many games, or he lost, I want to say one, specifically the Cal game. But as someone who hasn't been turning over the ball a lot of the past couple of weeks, I think a lot of it has to do with the play calling. Are you going to put in Walker White and still call the same complex plays? Are you going to put in Hank Brown and put in long developing plays that he can't get out of the pocket in time? It kind of comes down to that. I think the quick passing game would work a lot better for Hank Brown because you would not have the game move too fast for him. You wouldn't have him under duress as quickly. And Walker White, I mean, he's the more mobile one out of the entire scholarship quarterback depth. And I think it'd be interesting to see what he does with an RPO scheme. But looking ahead, I'm just not opposed to it. I think it's a good, and of course, if it's just a 1-game thing, if you're wanting to have better shots, you think Payton Thorne's the quarterback can give you better shots to win. I mean, looking at A&M and Alabama, it wouldn't be. I mean, I wouldn't be that opposed. You giving him an extra week to kind of get right and practice for those two, and then you have the young guys go in and just have outstanding performance with ULM, kind of gain their confidence back up, or Hank Brown's confidence back up as you get ready for the offseason in just a few weeks. But let me know your thoughts. Do you think Auburn should make the quarterback change? Of course, I say I don't think Payton Thorne has lost Auburn many games this year, or has lost Auburn like the last 2 games. But I would definitely say he definitely didn't win those games. Well, they were both losses, or not Kentucky. I was winning Missouri and Vanderbilt. Definitely don't give you more chances to win, but definitely didn't help you or didn't cause the loss to happen. So leave your thoughts on that. Should Auburn make a quarterback change, and who should it be? Do you think it should be the true freshman and Walker White? Because he'll get his red shirt still if he plays the last 3 games of the season. Or should we put Hank Brown back out there to start the last 3 games of the season? Now, with that, I'm going to change up the background a little bit. Just give me 1 second here, because it is time to do the pick'ems of the week. Auburn football is not playing this week, so we have opportunities to still watch football, and it will still be fun. So, just going to go into it. It's going to be a little quick draw here. I'm 66-34 on the season, so I'm not very happy with that win percentage. Might I add Florida at Texas. I'm going to take Texas in that one. Florida is going the 3rd-string quarterback. DJ Lagway, of course, probably out for the season after getting carted off and wearing a boot against Georgia. So, I'm going to take Texas in that one. Florida just could not move the ball with their 3rd quarterback is. And I think he played a pretty decent game. I just don't think he'll be able to beat Texas in 4 quarters of play. Miami at Georgia Tech. I'm going to take Miami in this one. I think it offers a great opportunity for Miami to just kind of get right and not have the refs kind of help them out a lot, which they have been doing. I know they won big last week, but still. UGA and Ole Miss, one of the biggest games of the year. I'm going to take Georgia in this one. I think their defense has the edge. I just don't think Ole Miss has played great against the good teams in the conference, or even just good teams in general. Of course, they did beat Arkansas last week, so give or take. But yeah, I just don't think they're going to beat Georgia. I just don't. Michigan, Indiana. I'm huge on Indiana this year. I want them to go to the playoffs. I would love it if they could kick like Ohio State out of it, and Penn State. Don't think either one of those 2 teams is going to be in the playoffs. Let's get Indiana in there. So I'm going to take the Hoosiers on that one. Colorado at Texas Tech. I'm going to take Colorado in this one. I've kind of shifted. They've played like a better team than they did last year, like exponentially better. So we'll see if they can continue to do that. here on Saturday. Up next, probably the game of the week. South Carolina takes on Vanderbilt in Nashville. A team of two giant killers go face to face. This is a David versus David situation. South Carolina, of course, last week destroyed Texas A&M. Vanderbilt has been known to, they killed Alabama. They almost beat Texas. So now you're looking at this game. I think with the home field and Diego Pavia, I'm going to take Vanderbilt in this one. I think they're going to continue to have a great season. They should have been in the college football playoff poll. I think it's stupid that they're not. I also think it's stupid that Alabama is ranked as high as they are. Up next, Mississippi State at Tennessee. Taking Tennessee on that one. I'm not even going to explain that one. Alabama at LSU in Tiger Stadium at night. I'm going to take LSU in this one. I just think they're the better team. Overall, I think they've looked a lot better at times than Alabama has. I'm going to take LSU on that one. Oklahoma at Missouri. I'm going to take Oklahoma. I'm going to take Missouri on that one. Oklahoma's just not been good all year long. So, I'm not going to take Oklahoma. I think they're one of the worst teams in the SEC by far. And lastly, BYU at Utah, the Holy War, if you will. This is a very close spread. With it being at Utah, I was on the fence for this one. I think I'm going to rock with BYU here. I think they've been one of the best teams in the Big 12. I think they're going to continue to show that. So, I'm going to take BYU in that game. And, of course, Auburn football does not play, so no predictions need to be had. Next week, we'll talk about Auburn versus ULM and what they can do to beat the Warhawks. And, of course, I just lost my background for a second. Let me get readjusted here. So, with that does it for this topic of the College Loop Podcast. Of course, leave your thoughts on Auburn men's basketball, women's basketball, and, of course, the opportunity of Auburn to change quarterbacks during the last 3 weeks of the regular season. And, of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe as well. Just comment about anything. What's your favorite barbecue meal? Like, what is your favorite barbecue restaurant in Auburn? Just do something crazy like that. But, of course, all that being said, don't forget to check out the audio versions of the show as well on Spotify Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and, of course, Amazon Music. And don't forget to check out the social media platforms as well. And with all that being said, check me on Instagram at Larck, DYLEN, and Twitter at YourBoyTheTank, at YABOYTheTank. And with all that being said, thanks for watching this installment of the College Loop Podcast. And as always, War Eagle.